So we had been discussing this dialogue between Bhagavan Krishna and his devotee and his disciple, which is all of us, in Kurukshetra. There's a long dialogue, and this is chapter 6. We are almost reaching the end of it. So between the first sloka and 32nd sloka of the 6th chapter, Bhagavan gives a long lecture because he had sort of summarized these 6th chapter and the details of it towards the end of the 5th chapter. Towards the end of it, he had kind of hinted the subject matter of the 6th chapter and the 5th chapter towards the end of it. How to do yoga for a sarva karma sannyasi. And now he elaborates in the 6th chapter, in the first 32 slokas, verses, about the techniques of yoga. And when he mentions all that, how to do it, how to establish yourself. And we, while doing Madhusudana Saraswati's commentary on this, we had also a very elaborate discussion on different relevant sutras of the Patanjali Yoga Sutras. And Arjuna, after listening to this long lecture, he carefully listens to it, and he feels that it's very wonderful that one should have a balanced mind and an equal vision, and should have sort of a stoic equanimity about the way he treats the external reality and people. He should be sort of sharing his pain with the people who are sad and sharing the pleasures of those who are happy. He shall not experience either jealousy or intolerance. He will not experience any of these agonies, which are a result of certain fault in our own personality or certain faults in the way we look at people and things around us. Arjuna looks at it, appreciates it. Then he asks Bhagavan in sloka 33rd and 34th, O Lord, yo yang yogastaya proktah samyena madhusudana, etasyaham napasyami chanchala tvastitim sthiram, chanchalam hi manah Krishna pramati valabhadridham, tasyaham nigraham manye vayuriva suduskaram. I am not being able to control this mind, O Lord. And therefore, I don't think I can perfect these yogic techniques that you are mentioning to me. He sort of raises his hands and says, I'm sorry. I understand, I'm not contradicting whatever you have said so far. The truth of the matter is that it's not very easy to either digest or sort of practically employ them and translate them in one's everyday life. He has mentioned this. And Bhagavan responded by saying, yes, I agree. Asangsaying mahavaho mano durnigraham chalam abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagena chaudrihate. I agree with you, very difficult to control the mind, but there are two ways to do it. One is abhyasa, again and again establishing a mind at that particular consciousness that you're looking for the truth, and you are trying to be united with the inner self through meditation. We have had a long dialogue on that. Asangsayatmana yoga duspava itime matihi vasyatmana tu yatata sakyo vaktum upayataha. If you follow the right methodology and you follow my advice, if absolutely somebody is not who has done his groundwork in terms of bringing his mind to certain normalcy, certain amount of equanimity, which is a preparatory thing. If you want to do anything, you have to have some sort of peace of mind. If he is not somebody who has controlled his mind, he jumps into this yogic technology, he wants to be a master of himself, not possible. I agree with you. However, even though it may require some extra hard work, dusprapa, very difficult to achieve for somebody who hasn't controlled his mind. But if someone who is samadhamadi sakka sampati sahita, not rahita, who has this samadhama and all the sakka sampati, he has mastered these basic qualities or qualifications of being a good student of Vedanta, he of course can control it. Vasyat mana, the person who has controlled his mind, he can do this yatata through regular, continuous, sustained practice. Sakyo Vaktum Upayatah, but not blindly. He requires to be smart. He needs to understand how to do it. And we have already discussed all these. Now we are at this moment, we have finished verse 37, but these three verses again represent a fundamental question which can emerge in the minds of many of us who are studying Bhagavad Gita or Vedanta. One preliminary question which anybody asks you from the material life, whom you are trying to advise anything regarding spirituality, what do you ask you? हमें क्या मिलेगा? What can I get out of it? Am I going to get anything? And you are describing something which challenges him, in fact, to renounce everything he has and become a sannyasi and do jnana yoga. And Arjuna has serious doubts about it. He was the first guy who, in chapter 2 and 3, you have seen, he was arguing with Bhagavan Krishna, saying that I am in dharma, I don't want to fight with these elders, I want to go and be a sannyasi, I want to be a yogi, I want to be a jnani. He used to have those delusions. Now he has learned to ask some serious questions because he has already listened to long conversations by Bhagavan Gita, Bhagavan Krishna on from Bhagavan on different aspects of sannyasa and karma, what it means and why one should do his duty, what is the process of antakarana suddhi or self-cleansing. Without it, if you do, why that's not something you can call sannyasa, even though you might act like a sannyasi. You will be mithyachara, sauchyate. But on the other hand, if you somebody who continues in your grihastha jivana, but without any attachment and craving or desire for results, if you continue to do the work, surrender the results to me, and become matparaha, then you are a yuktatma. You're all the time united with the self, and you shall be one who in no time will reach that level of qualification where he can drop these activities. I can retire to an ashram, sit and study Vedanta without any distractions. Because by then you would have already cleansed your mind. That is what Bhagavan has said. Now, Arjuna, he's like a middle-aged person. He's young, but not very young, like 21, 22. He's married. His son's also grown up, so he must be a person at this moment, maybe in his late 30s or something, because all his sons were grown up, isn't it? One of his sons, Abhimanyu, was 16 years of age. Maybe he's about late 30s. So he asks back, he throws back at Lord another question, which is very practical. He thinks like this, that let's imagine that you are in the middle of your career and you are taking a job interview elsewhere, okay? And you're supposed to, let's imagine you are in a government job. So you'll retire at 55, 58, or 60. You'll get a pension. May not get a great salary, but there's job security. And there is a corporate sector who is sort of calling you for an interview to give you a very good job. But if you resign this job and you go there, but then without completing the probation, if they throw you out, what happens to you? That question will come to your mind. Arjuna is precisely asking that question here, and he has already asked it in the sloka 37. We will do the other ones and we'll complete the Arjuna part of the dialogue today. These three questions are like this, and we'll go to explain in detail what is the meaning of his questions and why it's relevant for all the sadhakas, whosoever is trying to be established in Vedanta, in the Vachana of Bhagavan in Bhagavad Gita. Ayati Sradhyopeta Yoga Chalita Manasa Aprapya Yoga Sansiddhim Kam Gatim Krishna Gachati. If a person, just imagine, he lives his karma yoga, he lives his grihastha jivana. And karma yoga, what are the things he does? He does a lot of things, right? He does a lot of rituals. If he's a traditional person, he will be doing a lot of Vedic rituals. He'll be doing Sandhya Vandanam. He'll do all kinds of karma, the rituals, the Vedic rituals. And then he will get Pitrulokagati, Pitruyana Marga. And he'll go on Archya Marga, for example. He'll go to Swarga, Dakshinayana or Uttarayana. Both the margas are discussed in Brihadaranyaka. Either Dakshinayana or Uttarayana, depending on how strong is his sadhana path. And then he goes to different lokas, he lands up in Swarga, he enjoys for a while, then he's born again. Whatever. Now, what Arjuna is asking that if this person he develops Shraddha in a Vedanta, he has finished his karmas and he has Samadhamadi Satka Sampati, he has some internal purification. And then this aspirant or sadhaka abandons all the karmas because he has done Antakarana Suddhi. He has no desire. He takes karma sannyasa. He leaves his family behind. He shall not anymore, he takes vividisa sannyasa, not a vidva sannyasa. Vidva sannyasa is what a person takes when he is already a wise person. He's self-realized. He doesn't have to ritually take sannyasa as other people who are vividisa sannyasis do it. Who is a vividisa sannyasi? Somebody who first gets initiated into sannyasa to go to an ashram and study Vedanta and practice serious vairagya, to have these three goals we have already discussed: tattva darshana, mononasa, vasanakshaya. Together he is doing it. Let's imagine he doing it. And then before he has complete tattva jnana, because what gives you moksha? What gives you liberation? Ajnana nibriti. What can remove ajnana? What can remove darkness? Light can remove darkness. So he has to have atma jnana. Or he has to remove anatma jnana. Anatma jnana is ignorance. He considers the sansara as real. He considers everything here which is phenomenal to be substantial. They are not substantial. They are apparent. They're phenomenal. The reality is what he cannot see. And that reality is Atma Eva. Everything is that Satchidananda Rupa Swarupa, that consciousness which pervades everything, everywhere, all the time. And you cannot break it into time scales or into physical spaces. Is Desa Kala Vastu Paricheda Sunya. That is the Atma Vastu. And it's all pervading, it's infinite. And he has to have a realization of it. Then he shall not come back again. Na punaravartate, he shall not come back again. What if he has not realized it? He has limited time, and suddenly he dies. Arjuna has every right to ask that question because he's already maybe in his late 30s or early 40s. If he decides to do more karma yoga, as Bhagavan is saying, why he's asking? Because he's in a hurry. He wants to start studying Vedanta. He wants to make some progress in it. He is asking indirectly, is kind of hinting to Bhagavan, you're asking me to complete my karma yoga. By the time I complete it, I'll be almost 55, 56. And then what you are telling me that I'll take Banaprastha, I'll take sannyasa and go to study Vedanta in the jungles or in the ashrams. And if I start doing the Jnana Yoga so late, what even if I love my Guru, I love my Shastras, I try to learn, before I'm able to do some bit of Sanskrit and I'm able to pick up a bit of Nyaya and Mimamsa and Sankhya, before I have perfected meditation, what if I suddenly die? That is his doubt. Where am I going to go? Because I have stopped the karma yoga, so I will not get the karma phala. What is the karma phala? Swarga prapti, pitruyana marga, devayana marga. I will not get those benefits because I am somebody who has abandoned those activities and therefore I shall not get the benefit of doing those activities. Then I have started, let's presume, very successfully with all kinds of attention and seriousness. I've started Vedanta Chintana, Vedanta Sadhana. This Jnana Sadhana has not fructified because I haven't fully completed this course of reading all the Upanishads. I'm halfway through and I die. Where shall I go? I cannot get moksha because I haven't completed my jnana, this jnana sadhana. Jnana yoga I haven't finished. Karma yoga I have abandoned. So please tell me, Where am I going to go? That is his doubt, and it's a very, very serious doubt. Okay, so what he had asked, Ayati Sadhyo Peto Yoga Chalita Manasah. Why the mind will go away from yoga? That is a question you can also ask. He's saying that this person who starts studying Vedanta, he falls ill. And then because he's on the deathbed and his mind is troubled, he has stopped his karma and all. He has a lot of, Bikala bhava in him, a lot of anxieties. I could not succeed in Vedanta. I have stopped karmas. Where am I going to go? Yoga Chalita Manasa, this Jnana Yoga. I am not being able to concentrate. I have just started this sadhana and I have to die. Aprapya Yoga Sansiddhim, that Jnana Yoga Sansiddhi, which is moksha, he hasn't got it. Then Kam Gati, Krishna Gachati, where shall I go? Where shall this guy go? Oh my Lord. Please give proper advice. Don't mislead us. We are poor, ignorant human beings. We need proper advice. That is what Arjuna is asking on behalf of all of us. And Bhagavan Shankaracharya has explained this. Ayatihi. Ayatihi is not somebody who has not done any yatna at all. But alpate also you can have naya pratyaya. Like you say, amanush is not a human being. Amanava. Abrahmana doesn't mean he doesn't know anything. He doesn't know proper Sanskrit. He is not very refined his behavior. So you say he's a Abrahmana, Apandita, Amanus kind of thing. So what he says, Ayatihi Sadhyo Peto, Yoga Chalita Manasha Aprapi Yoga Sansiddhim Kam Gatim Krishna Gachati, Ayatihi Aprayatnavan, Yoga Marge Sadhya Astikya Buddhya, Swadhyaya Peto, it doesn't mean he doesn't have love for Jnana Yoga. He has complete dedication to this path. Cha Upeto, he has come to this ashram, Yoga, from his Jnana Yoga, Yogani Yoga, Antakale, at the moment of death, Api, Chalita Manasa Mano Jasya, his mind is restless. He has stopped all these. It's like, there's a person who has taken out all his pension money. He had got some GPF and whatever PF, and he has taken all those funds. And he has filled up an application to put them in a mutual fund or some share certificates or whatever. So he has broken his fixed deposits. And this fellow, where he gave the money, he had said that it will have a locking period of 3 years. And suddenly he needs a lot of money in between. What does he do? I mean, if he breaks that locking period, he's not going to get any benefit. And he cannot go back to the fixed deposits. He has broken those accounts. He has taken out all the money. So he is very confused and depressed. Similarly, a particular sadhaka was stopped doing his pujas, upasanas, and karmas, and dana, and all kinds of activities as a grihastha he was doing. He has become a sannyasi. Suddenly he has to die because he has disease. He is very, very disturbed, and therefore his mind is no more peaceful, is not stable to be able to focus on yoga, jnana yoga. Chalita manasaha, bhrasta smritihi, he forgets everything that he has studied recently. Saha aprapya yoga sansiddham, his memory is failing, and whatever he has learned is not good enough. Whatever investment you have done in jnana yoga is not good enough to give you the result in the form of atma jnana or moksha. Yoga phalam samyak darshanam, that's my samyak darshanam here is atma darshanam, atma sakshatkar. Kam gatim he Krishna gachati, that is his doubt. And then this also Madhusudan Saraswati, we have done it, we will have a little look at it when we start it. Then the next 2 slokas I'll be doing at one go, and then we will do Madhusudan Saraswati. Kachino bhaya vibhrastaschinnabhramiva nasyati apratishtu mahabaho vimudho brahmana patihi etanme sangsayam krishna chetum marhasasi satah twadanyah sangsayasya chittana yupapadyate. Kachino bhaya vibhrastas. Just imagine if this fellow is vibhrasta, he has lost his path. How? This fellow is removed from karma yoga, and now he has not succeeded in jnana yoga. Who has not succeeded in jnana yoga? Ubhaya Vibrastas is failed at both the ends. Chinna Vra, Avra is cloud, white cloud. So these clouds are water bearing, they could be a rain. Now just imagine there are two big thick clouds which are rain bearing, they're going to give rain, and in between there is a small patch of cloud. You will see that generally in the monsoon or maybe towards the end of the summer, you will find those beautiful white clouds are moving, and suddenly there's this big dark cloud, and there's another dark cloud in between. There are a few white clouds. So they have got disconnected with the previous thick dark cloud, and they are not part of the next cloud. I mean, this is an imagination. Those who are scientists or climatologists, they will have a different take on it. Now, what happens to those clouds who are in between? They don't give any rain. They break into small pieces. You would find that. And they break and they sort of, what do you call it? They get volumetrically, they expand, they become thinner and thinner. And then the precipitation doesn't happen. So they cannot give you any rain. Similarly, he's saying, do you think that I am, as a sadhaka, have abandoned the karma marga, not established in jnana marga? Am I going to be destroyed in between without giving any results? Like the white clouds become tiny clouds and they perish, they vanish, they don't give any rain. Same way, even nasyati, they all get destroyed. Destroyed in the sense they become ineffective. If they become part of a large cloud, yes, that cloud gives rain, they'll also become rain. Otherwise, they're just moving around. They're just like water vapor, isn't it? What are they? So, apratishto mahavaho. So, this particular sadhaka, which is me, just imagine if I leave the karma marga, you're asking me to do karma yoga. I'll take long many years and then I start jnana yoga. I'm old enough. I'm not being able to complete the jnana yoga. This is a very practical question. Mahavaho, Vimudha Brahmana Pati. And then Vimudha means Vikshipta Chitta. He's completely Vimudha. He's confused. He forgets what he had done, what he's planned to do. He's befallen by old age, and he's befallen by disease. Brahmana Pati, on the path of knowing the self, Brahman. And on that path of Atmajnana, he's a failure. Failure not because he did not make any efforts. He has made sincere efforts, but he is not able to complete the journey. His time is up. The game is over. That is, the bells will be off. The umpire says the match will be over. He has to go back. Where does he go? What is the benefit of this Jnana Yoga? What is the benefit of this Karma Yoga? You're saying that first do Karma Yoga, purify, then Jnana Yoga. Life is short, my lord. That's what is the question of Arjuna. And then in the next sloka, he's saying, Etan me sangsayam Krishna. So, Shankaracharya explains the first sloka, Kachit king, ubhaya vibhrastaha. What happens to that fellow? Karma margat, yoga margacha vibhrastaha. The person who has failed, who has kind of failed to keep himself on track of either karma marga, the path of a righteous duty, the path of scripturally approved path of karma, karma with detachment that Bhagavan has advised, without any craving for results. He has gone by the scriptures. He has not violated the rule of operation or whatever, code of conduct. He has kind of stuck to it. He's a good student of Vedanta. He does the karma first to purify, take care of his parents, his children, his wife. He's doing everything. And suddenly he finds his old. He goes to study Vedanta. And suddenly Bhagavan says, your time is up. And then where does he go? He cannot go to Sarga. He cannot go to Pitraloka. Where does he go? Will he go to hell? He cannot go to hell. Why? He has not done any papa karma. He has done only dharma. So where does he go? That is the question. Mahavahu Vimuda Brahmana Pati. Sun Chinna Bhram Iva, that broken clouds, Nasyati, Kingva na Nasyati. Or it doesn't get destroyed. Actually, it cannot get destroyed. Why? Because he hasn't done any papa. He's a punyatma. He has done all right things. Apratishto nirasrayo he mahavaho. This poor fellow, there is no asraya for him. He is neither pratisthita on karma nor is pratisthita in jnana. What kind of advice you have given as a professor? The student is very emotional, like the children ask Papa, I wanted to take that course. Why did you advise me to take this? And now I'm not getting a job. That's how the children shout at their parents for having sent them to do courses where they are not going to get jobs. Be Mudha son, Brahmana Pati, Brahma Prapti Marge, on the path of the divine self knowledge is advised by the Lord. You be face to face with the divine on the Jnana Marga. You do karma, purify your internal constitution, your mind, your actions. Go to a teacher and study Vedanta. Where did he violate any of your advice, my Lord? And then what does happen to him? That is his doubt. Then he asked, Etan me sansayam Krishna, my Lord. This is my doubt. This is my fundamental doubt. I don't have any problem with whatever you are advising me to do, but I'm not very convinced. I have too much time. I want to start doing Vedic studies right away. You don't tell me that I have to finish my karma yoga and then it will be too late, my Lord. That's what he's saying. Chetum ahasyase sata. You alone can actually remove this doubt. Why? Then Madhusudana Saraswati will beautifully explain that. Tvadanyaha sansayasya asya. No one else can remove this. Sometimes if you go to a very famous professor and you ask him, Sir, can you teach me this? He says, You go to any other teacher. I don't have time. I'm giving guidance to some PhD scholars. You are a plus two student. You go to some teacher coaching classes, you study there. I only look after PhD students. Are you a master degree holder? Why have you come to me? I have heard you are a great teacher. He laughs. He said, Yes, I'm a good teacher for somebody who has already finished his master's degree and he has some research area in his mind. Then I take him as my student. Not somebody, but I'm very bright. I've completed my 10th and I have got CGPA 10. I'm very bright in maths. He said, Yeah, so go to a coaching course. Not here. Or he's in first year degree and you say that I have scored so and so percentage, I'm in good campus college, I want to study with you. He said, No, you finish your master's. You're just in first year BSc or PA. I don't have time for you. Bhagwan could send Arjuna back. So Arjuna is making very clear from the very beginning saying this doubt is so difficult, this question is so difficult, it requires serious attention from you because you are Sarvagya. You know answers to all the doubts. Etat me means mama, sansayam, he Krishna, chetum, apanaitum. You are somebody who can remove this doubt. Arhasi, ase sataha. You are capable of removing this ase sataha. That means you can remove the doubt without leaving any remaining part of it. Ase sataha. Without any shesa. There will be nothing remaining. You can comprehensively address my doubt. Tvad anyaha. Anybody other than you. Tvataha anyaha. Don't send me to any rishi. Don't tell me go to Vasishtha, go to Balmiki, go to Parshuram. Don't do that nonsense. त्वत्तः त्वत्तः अन्यः ऋषि देव वा. Other than you, त्वत्तः अन्यः ऋषिः देव वा chetta nasayitas. Chetta means what? Somebody who can break it into two pieces, who can destroy this. Cheditum shakyo. No one else can do it. Nasayita sansayasa yasya hi. Nahi yasmat upapadyate. No one else. It's not even possible. Sambhavati ataha. Therefore, tvam eva chetum arhasi ityartha. I want to hear the answer to my questions only from you. And why? And he has solid reason to convince Bhagavan, saying that you alone can remove my doubt here. So now let's look at Madhusudana Saraswati. He would have a bit of academic things coming in, but he is a very good guy and beautifully explains. Before we go into explaining why Arjuna is bothered, I need to tell you a little about what kind of karmas we do and what are the results thereof. Okay. If a person does a lot of papa karmas or shastra nishiddha karmas, which are not provided for in shastras, like he murders someone, he harms children and women, he's very cruel to others, he's very selfish, very mean, he doesn't do any charity work, what happens to him? The Shastra says he will have Nimna Gati. He will get a life inferior to humans. What kind of thing? If somebody who hurts a lot of people is kind of a criminal or a psychopath, he will become a tree. Because you know, you can cut trees, the tree cannot answer anything. It cannot oppose you. And this tree, of course, we have heard that there are killer trees in Africa. Generally, this tree just stands and you hit it, you cut its branches, anything, it cannot say anything. Similarly, the mountains, they just keep standing, they cannot do anything. And there's all kinds of trees and plants, they are pretty harmless, isn't it? If it's very satvika, maybe one will become a beautiful auspicious tree like a Bilwa tree, or maybe a Ashoka tree, some auspicious spiritual tree one become. But nevertheless, your whole life cannot move. Can you imagine? You have tortured others, so you are punished. That's one punishment is mentioned. Or you are born as Zayaswa, Mriyaswa, these insects and this and that. They have no future. They're born and they're born only to die after a while. There's no life in them. Last a few days, like mosquitoes, 11 to 18 days. They are born, they die. They lay their eggs and they die. Similarly, there are different other animals. And these animals, they're just kind of cursed because they cannot do any punya. They are just, these are like jail terms for the jivatma. If you do some punya karma, lot of punya karmas, and these punya karmas you are doing which are Shastra Vihita, like karmas. What kind of karmas? Like Somayaga, Dasa Punnamas, Abhyam, Swargatama, Yajata. You do Somayaga, you do Agni Somya, all kinds of Vedic rituals are there, and you're doing it Sandhya Vandanam, you're doing every day, then you will go on the Pitriyana Marga. Okay. And if you are doing a lot of upasanas of the devatas, you are doing punya karmas, but you are a great upasaka. You are dedicated to your Lord, whether it's Lord Ram or Krishna or Hanuma. What happens to you? That divine consciousness in the form of a devata will pull you on his marga. So you go on the Devayana marga, right? So we have now three margas: Nimna marga, Devayana, and Pitriyana. There's another marga. If a person is kind of a mixture of papa and punya, some papa, a lot of punya but a few papas, then he doesn't go to become an animal or a bird or a plant or anything. He becomes a human being again to rectify his mistakes so that he can purify himself and go to a higher level. So he can be a Manushya Janama. And then there is a mention that if he does his karmas very well, purify his antakarana without any craving for results, then he studies Vedanta. Then he realizes the Aikya of Jiva and Brahma. He doesn't have any selfies. He becomes a Vidhyatma. He's full of love and kindness towards all. But he's kind not because of some fear he has that if I don't become kind, God will punish. No, he doesn't have that kind of thinking. He is kind and loving towards all because he doesn't see himself as different from others. He sees himself as everything, as everyone. And that sort of a person who is Sarvatmaka, embraces everything. He has Jiva Atma Aikya Buddhi. That Tattvamasi understanding fructifies in his consciousness. His ignorance of everything is divided and diverse and dual, that weakness, that ignorance is destroyed. What happens to him? He shall not be born again because he doesn't see limitations in the consciousness anymore. He's instantly liberated if he is the benefit of Tattva Darsana plus Parama Yoga. He becomes a Jivana Mukta. He becomes Jivana Mukta. And then he will live for some time and then he will have Videha Mukta. If he has Jivana Mukta and plus Tattva Darsana, here and now he is liberated. Otherwise, he has Tattva Darshana, he will leave, he will apparently take the pain and frustration, whatever, as a result of Prarabdha Karma, the body falls, he shall not come again. He'll have Videha Mukti. Okay? So these are the 5 roads, and therefore Now put that into context and please look at how he explains it. Kaschino vibhrastas छिन्नाभ्रमिव नश्यति अप्रतिष्ठो महाबाहो विमूढ़ ब्रह्मणः पति क्वचिद इति savilasa prasne. He has a specific doubt in his mind. Hey Mahabaho, why he's addressing Bhagavan as Mahabaho? Bhagavan had addressed Arjuna as Mahabaho while telling him that through Abhyasa and Vairagya you can't do yoga and you can succeed. Why? To motivate and inspire him by addressing him as Mahabaho. Like the coach addresses the students or the players in the team as you are great ones, you can go and crack the examination to motivate you. Here he is addressing Bhagavan as Mahabaho because Bhagavan has got all the powers. Even if a papi does some holy name chanting, he can liberate him through the grace that he bestows on him. He is Mahabahu, he is all powerful, omniscient, omnipotent, and omnipresent. Therefore, Mahabahu. Vimudha Brahmana Pati. So here Mahabahu, Mahantah Sarvesang Bhaktanam Sarvo Upadrava Nivarana Samarthaha. All the papas and problems, upadravas that we are all suffering in our individual lives, you have the power. You're all powerful, omnipotent. You can remove all those weaknesses and faults from our lives. Purushartha Chatushtaya Dana Samartha. So, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Even if you do all that, who gives you the results? Bhagavan. So you can actually give us the benefit, all the purusharthas we do. On our own, we cannot encash our karmas. Ishvara is a niyamaka, he has to be there. That is that supercomputer through which all activities are processed and rewarded. Okay? Ba chatvara bahava yasyati. Otherwise, Mahavahu, because you have Shankaracharya, Gada, Padma, Dhari, Chaturbhuja, your four hands, so therefore you are Mahavahu. Prasna nimitta krodha bhavaha tad uttara dana sahishnutvam. And then he's also kind of buttering him, praising him as Mahavahu because he wants to ensure that he doesn't get irritated with his foolish question. You are capable of being compassionate. Listen to my stupid question and answer that with compassion and kindness. Sahishnutvam. Cha suchayam. So he kind of suchitam. He explains that. Madhusudan Saraswati is saying that this verse kind of indicates Arjuna's full faith in the Lord, that he can listen to this, will not get angry, and will answer the question without any perturbation, without any hesitation. Brahmana Pati, Brahman. What is that Brahmana Pati? On the path of the Brahman, what is that? Brahma Prapti Marge Jnane Vimudha Vichittaha. So Vimudha means what? Vichittaha. That is Vikshiptaha Chittaha. His mind has got scattered. He is established on the path of Atma Jnana, Brahma Jnana Marge. That is Brahmana Pati. Pati, seventh case. Brahmana on the path of Brahman. On that path, this fellow is trying to establish himself, but he is Vikshipta, Vimudha, Vichittaha. Anutpanna Brahmekya Sakshatkara. He doesn't get the benefit of realizing that the Jiva and Brahma are one. There is no difference. Iti Yavat. He is in that kind of a Trishanku Avastha, neither Swarga nor Martya, nor Karma nor Jnana. He is in between. Apratishto Devayana Pitruyana Marga. These two paths I just explained. So either Devayana or Pitruyana Marga. Gamana Hetu Bhyam. What is the Gamana Hetu? What is Gamana? That you will go. You have to have the ticket, right? To go on any. You want to go by flight or you want to go by bus or train. You need the tickets. What are those tickets? Dharma and karma. You want to do Devayana Marga, a lot of Upasana is required. You want to go on the Pitruyana Marga, a lot of Vaidika karmas are required. Sandhya, Vandana, Tarpana, and all kinds of yagas. You must have done that. So if he hasn't done that, Hetu Bhyam, Upasana Karma Bhyam, Upasana and Karma. Upasana takes you to Devayana Marga. Karma takes you to Pitruyana Marga. Upasana and karma, he is not. Pratishthavyam sadhanabhyam rahitaha. He has deprived himself. He could not complete the karma marga. He could not complete the jnana marga. Sopasananang sarvesam karmanam parityaga. Upasana ke saath. He has not just stopped doing upasana, he has stopped all the karmas also. Therefore, Devayana and Pitruyana is prohibited for him. Etadrisa ubhaya vibhrastaha, somebody who is kind of incomplete on both these paths, Jnana Marga and Karma Marga. Karma Margat, Jnana Margacha. So he is somebody who is vibhrasta, he is a failure, and he has fallen for both the margas, Jnana Marga and Karma Marga. Vibhrasta chinna bhramiva, like a broken cloud which kind of splits into tiny pieces, white pieces of paper like that, and the blue sky. Vayuna chinnam is kind of swayed away by air. It's broken into pieces by air. Disakalitam, it turns into tiny pieces. Purvasmat meghat bhrastam, uttaram megham apraptam abhram. Now, these tiny clouds, tiny clouds, you have a big black cloud here, big black cloud there. In between these tiny pieces, they are breaking. Neither part of this thick, dark cloud which will give rain, nor the other one, neither karma marga nor jnana marga. You are in between. Okay? Yatha drishti ayogyam sad antarale eva nasyati. So it becomes ayogya, incapable of giving rain because it's not part of that dark big cloud which will ensure precipitation. That it's not capable of doing given its small size, so it just melts into air and vanishes. Tatha yoga vrashtopi. Similarly, the yoga vrashta also purvasmat karmat vichinnaha. So he's separated from the karma yoga which he was doing. Uttaram cha jnana margam aprapto antarale evanasiti. So he is on the jnana marga. He has not been able to complete it. So in the intermittent period, he gets destroyed. Etasmin hi pakshe jnana phala alabhepi karma phala. Okay, then he adds one thing. Etena jnana karma samuchayo nirakritaha. You remember that in the chapter 2 and later on also there was a discussion on jnana karma samuchaya. Whether one should do jnana and karma simultaneously. You should do karma as well as jnana. That is one argument some people have given. Shankaracharya had refuted it, all Advaita Vedantis refuted. Why? They say that karma is also cause of moksha, not directly but indirectly. Like a matriculation degree or a plus 2 degree is also responsible for your PhD. But a plus 2 degree shall not give you a PhD degree. But without plus 2 degree, you cannot do undergraduation, you cannot do the master's degree, so you cannot enroll for PhD. And therefore, indirectly, the plus 2 degree is also responsible for your getting a PhD degree. Because if you do not score very high marks in the plus 2 examination, you shall not get into a good college. Your foundation in the undergrad course will be very weak. You may not qualify to get into a good university. Even if you get in, you shall not score very high to get a seat in a PhD degree. In that sense, the plus 2 is the foundation for your whole academic career. However, you cannot say that if you have got a plus 2, you can get a PhD. Similarly, if you have to do a PhD, you do not have to simultaneously again do the plus 2 coursework. That coursework is over. Similarly, the Karma Yoga coursework precedes the Jnana Yoga coursework. You don't have to do them simultaneously. The Jnana Karma Samuchaya is thus refuted, that without karma, no jnana. But once you start doing jnana, the karma, because there are aneka sadhana, sampanna is karma. You require a lot of instruments, samagris for doing karma, for doing Vedanti, he wants to study. He doesn't want to do this yaga and priests and ghee and all these things. He's not bothered. He just has a couple of dhotis. He goes and sits and studies Vedanta and meditates. He cannot indulge. He doesn't have money either. He has become a monk. So jnana karma cannot go together. Karma is meant for materially well off, economically well off grihasthas who can do it. The sannyasi cannot do all this. Sannyasi throws away his thread. He's not even a Brahmin or a Kshatriya. He throws away his thread. He's a sannyasi. He doesn't have a thread. He doesn't do sandhya vandana. He sacrifices everything, including his caste. He just is now free from all names and forms. He's supposed to purify his consciousness and ascend to a higher plane of complete Atma-jnana, Brahma, Jiva, Aikhya Jnana. That kind of thing, where you remove all dualities and differences. Therefore, this Jnana Karma Samuchaya, this sloka he's saying is additional proof that has been refuted. Why? If Jnana Karma Samuchaya were the rule, if you have to do your plus two and master degree or PhD degree simultaneously, can you argue that, sir, I have left my, if government job and corporate job have to be done simultaneously, will you ask this question? If I resign from my government job and I go to the corporate sector and I'm fired during the probation period, what happens to me? Which is amply clear that the government job and the corporate job cannot be done at the same time. That is very obvious, isn't it? That is what is arguing. The very question that Bhagavan, if somebody leaves Karma Marga, enters Jnana Marga, and not complete there, and he dies, what happens? This question itself explains that Jnana and Karma will not be done simultaneously, but one after the other. It's just kind of small diversion. न च तस्य कर्म असंभवेपि. Okay. एतस्मिन् पक्षे ज्ञानफल अलाभेपि कर्मफलाभाव संभवेन उभय विभ्रष्टत्व असंभवात्. So this is the what we just said, that both the phalas will be destroyed. You cannot argue. Why? Because you're supposed to do together, you will get phala for both. Why are you saying you will get destroyed? That I leave that and I'm doing it and I will get destroyed. I am not going to achieve any of these. Na cha tasya karma sambhavepi. And then there is another doubt that, there are certain scholars, Vedic scholars, who you might argue that maybe because he has done karma phala tyaga. Because Bhagavan says you do karma phala tyaga, do karma. That is karma yoga. Sanga tyaga. You should not be attached to the results of your work. Continue to do your work, no problem. There is no karma bandha. He's saying because there will be no karma bandha, he will not get any phala also. Is that so? He will not go? No, it's not the result. If you work very hard without any craving for results, you continue to be rewarded. Even if you may not ask, you will get more. That is what Apastamba says, and he's quoting from there. He's saying karma sambhavepi phala kamana tyagat tat phala bhrangsa vachanam avakalpate iti vachyam niskamanamapi karmanam phala sambhava asya apastamba vachananu udaharanena bahushaha pratipadittatvat. He's saying Apastamba is a great commentator on the Vedas. Okay, there is a Sota Sutras and Apastamba, like Manu, who was one of the first commentators in the Mimamsa tradition. So he's quoting from Apastamba saying that even if a person has no craving for the results, he's going to still get the results. Tasmat. Okay, Tasmat sarva karma tyaginaha. Therefore, a person who has renounced all his activities, yes, is a sannyasi. Prati eva ayam prashnaha. So this question is meant for the sannyasis. He has taken sannyasa, living karma yoga. What happens to him if he doesn't get jnana? That is atma jnana. Anartha prapti sankayaha tatra eva sambhavat. Because he sort of has left everything and he is going there, but he doesn't get atma jnana. He might be in problem because he is not going to get swarga. He is not going to have pitruyana, devayana marga. He'll not also go to Narka. Why? He's not doing any papa. Where does he go? He's a Ubhaya Vibrashta. That is the question he's saying. And the commentary on the sloka number 39. Etarme sansayam Krishna cheto maharshasi sadaha tvadanyaha sansayasyasya chetana yapapadyate. So this particular thing is explaining etad evam purva Pradarsitam. This has been already explained before. Me, that is Mama, Sansam He Krishna Chetum, Apanetum, Aharshi Asesataha. You alone can remove my doubt. As Bhagavan Shankaracharya says, Madhusudana repeats it more or less. Sansaya Mula Adharmadi Uchedena. Because you see, what is the cause of doubt? This is a very powerful philosophical question in our, tradition. You meditate on it. Something serious here. Why a person has a natural inclination towards, let's imagine, Shastriya things, in divinity and meditation and yoga. He doesn't doubt it. You will find other people who will say, no, what is yoga? It's nonsense. Cow, pure must throw. This is nonsense. What Madhusudana Saraswati is saying, that even this doubt, that yoga is meaningful. Someone is very nastika. He's saying that this is also a result of punya apurva adharma. If a person has done a lot of papa, because of all kinds of papa, for example, Ravana could not recognize Rama is Bhagavan. He could not. If he would have recognized, he would not unnecessarily, he could have said, okay, give me some upadesha, take your wife, make me an ally, I'm going to protect. And just one apology could have been over, but he couldn't recognize. So he wanted to fight, he fight and he got killed. And then you can have a twist saying that he wanted to get killed by Sri Rama so that he'll go to Swarga or he'll get liberation. That is another story. End of the day, he could not recognize him. He could not even recognize Shiva and he had a fight with him. Why all kinds of things? He was such a great scholar and he was, he had 10 heads because the 4 Vedas and the 6 Sarangas, he was expert in all that and he committed something which is very immoral, kidnapping somebody's wife. Why? Purva Papa, that adharma. So this Sansya Chetum, who can destroy the doubts we have? We say Acharya. He's saying no. Any Rishi or Acharya cannot do it. Only Bhagwan can do it. Why? Because Bhagwan cannot only explain the Shastra to me, but he has the power to destroy the adharma in my Jivatma. Whatever adharma load is there, he can destroy my adharma with grace so that my doubts evaporate on their own. This is a beautiful way to look at it. Okay? Mad anyah kasid rishirva devava tvad iyam imam sansaya sansayam uchetsyati iti asankya aha twadanyah. If Krishna by mistake Bhagwan might say that Kampa, you don't come to me for this, you can go to any Rishi, as I was mentioning, and you can go and sit and he will explain you Vedanta. So it's easily done for you. He says, no. Because I have a feeling I'm asking too many questions because I have a lot of adharma. I need your grace and kindness. So you alone can remove my doubt. Tvadanyaha. Tvat parameshwarat sarvajnat sastra kritaha. You are Shastra Krit. Why? You are a master. You are a Sarvajna. You know all the Shastras. You are actually the creator of all the Shastras through the Rishis. You are the Niyamaka. With your grace and direction, everything happens, including all the truths we discuss. So you alone can tell me the ultimate truth. Okay, Parama Guruha. You are the Parama Guru. Karunikad Anyo. You are Parama Karunika. You are an embodiment of compassion. And compared to you, no one else, Anishwara Tvena or Sarvajya, somebody who is Anishwara, he is not Ishwara. And therefore he is not also completely wise. He is not completely wise. Kasid Rishirva Devava, neither a great Rishi nor an angel or God. They cannot Yoga Bhrasta Paraloka Gati Visayasya. This Yoga Bhrasta, where does he go? He cannot go to Narka, this I know. No Papa Jasta. But his Yoga Vrashta could not complete his course. He died halfway. He cannot go to Swarga. He cannot go on Pitriyana Marga. No Devayana. Where does he go? That doubt you have to tell me, because you send people, you know where do they go. You are the real traffic commissioner here. Tell me, where do these vehicles vanish? Okay, samsayasya cheta samyak uttaradanena nasaita. You can destroy this doubt by giving me a comprehensive answer. He, ठीक है, यथा Yasmat na upapadyate na sambhavati. So other than you, from no one else, this kind of an answer can upapadyate means na sambhavati. Tasmat tvam eva. Therefore, you alone pratyakshadarshi, because you are a visionary. You can see everything. Everything is pratyaksha to you. Why? Because you don't look at anything with physical eyes. You are sarvadarshi. You are everywhere. Okay, you are sarvadarshi, sarvavyapaka, sarvajna. So Pratyakshadasi Sarvasya Parama Guruhu. Because you are Antaryami Purusha, you are in everyone. So you tell me what is it? Sansayam etam mama chetum aharshi ityartaha. So you can remove my doubt. And this is where he has asked this question. And the last few slokas we will have starting tomorrow, where Bhagavan will remove the doubt of Arjuna. And that will be a beautiful. We will be just doing Ucharanam. And no, we will start that tomorrow. Okay, so we will stop here and we will start the dialogue of Bhagavan tomorrow, where he'll comprehensively answer all the doubts raised by Arjuna. What is the doubt like? If I stop karma yoga, if I have to do more karma, I need more time. By the time I complete, I'm going to be almost old. Then I'll start Vedanta. Very difficult to understand grammar and Nyaya. I'll study Vedanta. By the time I'm half through the text, I might die. Where do I go? I have stopped all these karmas, then I am not complete in my jnana. Where do I go, my Lord? Please show me some light. And Bhagavan will show him a lot of light and will benefit from it tomorrow. Thank you all. So I'll switch off the YouTube and we will do the Santi mantras and the Google Meet unless there is some questions.